Hi guys, I am back, and today I am going to do my first painting video, and we're painting pumpkins. I know that we are able to do holiday wreaths now, but I am not done with autumn and all things Thanksgiving. So wanted to do a pumpkin, simple pumpkin. I got addicted to painting these guys and wanted to share with you my process. I got some cheap acrylic, liquid acrylic, seriously, like really cheap, like $3.99 at DD's discounts. And I just think they're great. I'm in the process of deciding what I like better, cake or liquid, and I do like the liquid best. So anyway, this is my setup. I've got the painting tray. This is just a palette that I have, and I have picked out some paints that I want to kind of use. Crimson red, put a little in this guy. And then I have a burnt sienna, which is always nice to mix in even with colors that you don't think you should mix it in with. Been doing a lot of playing around, a lot of experimenting. And that's why I like watercolor. It's just a lot of playing. You can do a lot of playing. Then I've got a yellow ochre, because I want to make this nice orange. It's kind of a darker orange, actually, that I'm creating. And then finally I've got a blue that I may or may not use, but I just like to have blue. I need to open it. Yep. Yeah, so getting these in here, get that pumpkin out of the way. Also wanted to show you some smaller sheets that I have. These are the ones that I did already, and there are different ways that you can actually do them. So I want to show you a couple of ways that you can actually achieve this look. And then I've got these watercolor pieces that I've already cut up. They're like 4.5 by 6. I've got a number 8 round brush, and I've got a number 6 round brush. I love the rounds so far. Got 2 clear dishes of water, and got my paper towels so that I can blot my brush. That's been the biggest thing that I've learned, controlling the pigment that you've got on your brush. And then I like this dispenser for water. It's just a little squeeze bottle for water. I really like to have this instead of an eyedropper, so I keep this on hand. So I'm just going to get started. Activate these watercolors. And I love how you can just activate what you've already got in your palette. Make sure you don't go straight down on your round brush. You want this brush to keep its shape. So, you know, you're going to basically be on the side of this brush, the belly of the brush actually, just to keep the shape. But yeah, I love this smaller real estate to work on. So we're going to start mixing. Yeah, and it's just experiment, you know. I wanted to make a nice orange, you know, make a nice pumpkin-y orange. But, you know, probably came out a little dark. But then I'll just add water. And you're going to make sure you make a space to indicate another section of the pumpkin. And then just use the tip of your round brush and alternate between the very tip to the belly of the brush. It's similar to brush lettering. You know, you need to use the tip for your thin strokes, and you need to apply pressure for your down strokes or your shaded lines. So just think of it like that. See how you're mimicking the contour of the pumpkin. So yeah, I'll probably take some of the pigment out of that other darker section before it's all over, because these other colors were really where I wanted to start, because you want to start lighter so that you can add value in later, and then just keep going around. You want to keep going around the pumpkin and adding sections, but it's more in the background, so you don't need everything. You just need a hint. And then making these sections a little darker, because they will have a little darker value. And just bring this guy down a little bit. And this one too. Yeah, so you can have that curvature going for you. And just keep going down. I have a tendency, like, maybe probably to end these a little too quickly. This is probably too short. Probably could elongate these a little bit, but this is fine for this demo. So I just pull some water on this brush so that I can pull out some of that pigment. And then add some pigment, add some value to the tops and bottoms of these contours. You don't want to overwork it either. I have a tendency to overwork these, so I'm trying to be a little bit more loose in the way that I approach this value adding. But I like. Now we're going to grab some of this burnt sienna so that we can do the actual stem of the pumpkin. What I like to do is I like to just add lines. I don't like to add big solid blocks of paint. But if you do it in lines and you see the white of the paper, you can see a little value there. So I like to kind of leave it alone. Just maybe kind of sketch in a little of the color. And I also like to elongate the top instead of just chopping it off. It can look a little stumpy when it's short, even though that's how pumpkins can look, but I think it adds a little interest to make it longer. Then you can start adding a little of the burnt sienna into the darker areas, just to add a little bit more depth to your pumpkin. So the areas where I had just a lot more pigment, now I'm actually adding a little darker color. I don't know what color this ended up being. It's like a dirty orange, I guess, but I like it. Still all things autumn. And voila, we're done. I think that, this could be cute as a card. So I want to add a little calligraphy to it. I just think it's cute. I think it's nice. It's not perfect. And I don't think it has to be super perfect. But I do want to add a little calligraphy to this, just so you can see how, this can be a nice card or maybe even a nice printable. I'm going to use a little Sumi ink here. Probably take a while just to get it started because of the roughness of the watercolor paper and using the pointed pen. But I think I'm going to write grateful and blessed on here. Yeah, see, it's starting to go through a little nicer now. Yeah, and I just love the way calligraphy looks with watercolor, so this was just so natural for me. And I guess I need an and. I wasn't even gonna write this, but I'm gonna do and. See how it looks. We're just plain. See how an ampersand looks right here. Oh, that doesn't look bad. Yeah, and then just try to center your lettering up under the pumpkin, and I think it looks fine. So exciting. This is a lot of times I've just been doing stuff like this in my mind, so I'm so excited that I'm actually doing it and doing it on video, so very exciting. And then really quickly, I think I just want to add a few leaves to this pumpkin. It's just a way to show you how to actually add a little augmentation to the pumpkin if you don't want your pumpkin to just be lonely. I use the very tip of my round brush in order to draw the stems, and then I'll bend it down a little bit to use the belly of the brush for the leaves. So just bear with me. Okay, now one more way. I wanted to show you another way to actually do this. The loose method may not be something that you're a fan of, so you can always draw in the contours of the pumpkin first with a pencil. So for all you sketchers out there, definitely can go ahead and sketch the pumpkin. I like to sketch too. You got all your little sections in, and now you can introduce the paint. So I've already got the paint mixed, and I am just going to make sure I put a lighter wash down this time. And yeah, so it's not as loose of a method, but that doesn't bother me. I think this is just another way. It's a more painterly sketch style. that you can do with the watercolor, and I like it. I do like it. I like both ways. I like to do it really loose, big strokes, but then I also like something that's a little bit more refined, a little bit more planned out. And you can always come back and add darker values where you feel like they're needed. The top and the bottom of the pumpkin, definitely. And these back smaller contours I just make darker, so you're really only seeing the tops. So I like it. This is the second way to actually create a pumpkin. We've got the burnt sienna, the lines. Probably way too much pigment, but I'm going to take some of that out. Take some of that out. Yeah, I like that better, more subtle. Yeah.